Hey, what's up guys? I'm here with Angela and we decided to do a collaboration video on a much needed perspective on an overly talked about topic, which is Nofap. And essentially, I just wanted to get a female's perspective from different sides of the whole equation. So I asked a few of you on my Periscope to give me questions to ask Angela, which I will get to in a second. But first, my question is, what do you feel about a bunch of dudes who are collectively deciding to stop touching themselves?
So I will admit beforehand, before I learned about Nofap, I would have been like, it's a little weird, like what's the point of doing that? But after I learned about Nofap, I've been on yourbrainonporn.com and I learned about how negative it can affect guys, and I respect guys who are going through the efforts to basically improve their lives and get rid of bad habits. And I know that breaking habits is really hard for anyone, regardless of what the habit is, but especially when it's an addiction like that, it's tough. And especially in our society, everything is hyper-sexualized. And it's just accepted that if you're a guy, you're going to watch porn from the time you're 10, 12 years old. So I definitely have a lot of respect for guys who are making the effort to stop the addiction.
Right. So beforehand, it might have been creepy, but now that it's a thing, it's more understandable and it's commendable to the guys who are actually trying to do better for themselves. Random question. When did I tell you about my involvement with Nofap?
We got the vegan ice cream.
And did you think it was weird when I was talking about it?
No.
Okay. So
I had known about it.
Okay. So you knew about it through someone else, I'd imagine? Or...
Yeah, so I actually had a guy friend who I was like pretty close with, and I don't know what brought about it coming up, but basically he told me about how he used to be addicted to pornography and how he found this website called Your Brain on Porn, and he kind of told me about the website. I went to the website and just looked at all the information there's a ton on that website. So I just kind of educated myself on Nofap, and from his experience, he told me about how he just has a lot better of a life, he has more energy, just feels a lot better about himself. So
Another side of the equation that I wanted to discuss is how your addiction to pornography actually can mess up relationships. I've had 2 emails from 2 different women who talk about how pornography is essentially ruining their relationship because their boyfriend and or a husband is so emotionally detached. And I can take it from my own personal experience. When I was heavily involved with my usage with pornography, it was, I just didn't find my girlfriend as attractive as I know she was. And I knew that I wasn't there emotionally for her because all my time and energy was pretty much going into pornography. And so you don't need to get specific, but you do have an experience with a past boyfriend. So tell us about, about that experience and his experience and all that stuff.
So this is before I knew about Nofap and before I knew how bad it was. But essentially, I didn't really know at first. There were some just kind of interesting signs that when I look back now, it should have been a red flag, and I just kind of ignored it. But I would notice he would follow a lot of girls on Instagram who were just like all bikini models or just, all that stuff. And so it did bother me, but I just kind of accepted it because I've just always been told guys are gonna look at that. That's what they do. They're gonna watch porn. You just have to get over it. It's not personal. It doesn't mean that they don't like you or anything like that. And I get that maybe he didn't have anything against me, but I could definitely see where women had the issue with attachment. And I could definitely see that he was a little bit drained. And
can you explain that? Like, what do you mean drained?
So I guess what I mean is like he didn't really have any hobbies or interests outside of just kind of like being with me and like watching porn. And it was just kind of like he just went through the routine of life, but he didn't really feel excited about anything. He didn't have any passion or like anything that he was trying to change or do. Yeah,
totally. And so what about emotionally? Did you feel like he was disconnected? Did you feel, I'm putting these words in your mouth, but I mean, I would imagine you felt inadequate maybe in his eyes.
I think definitely the inadequate part plays a big role. And, I'll admit, like, this is definitely like me too, with my own like insecurities. But when you see that a guy is watching porn and you look vastly different from that girl, and that's what's turning him on, and that's like, it in a way, it's just like, how does this person actually find me attractive and is like it makes you almost not want to trust them.
Right.
And like, I think basically what ended our relationship was just, there was really not that trust there anymore.
Right. And I mean, it's almost the equivalent, because, you know, in my more insecure days, at least, I know I would see, you know, oh, the girl I'm involved with, she's liking pictures of these Abercrombie type models.
Yeah.
And so based off of that alone, I mean, that didn't make me feel good. So I can only imagine what it would be like to know that my girlfriend every single day, you know, 3 to 4 times a day, is pleasuring herself to the image of other people. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm getting insecure about a like, but then if I'm,
Yeah.
if she's over there
Yeah.
pleasuring herself to, you know, like, how would that make you feel, you know, as an
Yeah.
individual?
And it made me feel pretty awful.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
And I know, I guess, you know, you could say you're responsible for your own feelings, but at the same time, it's like, it became almost impossible to get over it, because
Yeah.
as time went on, it just got worse and worse. And there
Right.
became a point, you know, I don't want to be too graphic, but it's just like being intimate wasn't really a thing anymore, because
Right.
it's just like he couldn't get, it was almost like he couldn't get aroused to me. And that is heartbreaking. Like when you're with someone and you care about them and you want them to like you, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, but I'm not.
Yeah. So yeah, that strikes me. That strikes a chord with me for sure, because I've been in that position where I used to be insecure about things, and so I can only imagine it would be 10 times worse to know that my girlfriend every single day is like pleasuring herself to dudes that look way better than me, or that can do something. I would even, this is kind of random, there were times where I would get, not insecure, but just like, really, the vibrator again? Like, I'm not good enough? Like, the vibrators, you know, the vibrator. So, I mean, put yourselves in, you know, these females' position. You know, we're putting them in, painting them in a light that shows that they're not really adequate enough for us. So I think that's one of the most overlooked components when it comes time to, you know, pornography addiction.
Yeah. And I also, in a way, like now that I look back on it, I feel bad that, you know, he kind of was so deep into it that it was affecting us that much.
Right. So I did talk to some people on my Periscope, and they had some questions to ask you. Out of about 5, we're just gonna do 3 of those questions. First question would be, can a girl tell a difference in energy between someone who's constantly masturbating to porn and someone who's not?
Yeah.
Can you at least tell?
It's kind of a tough one. So maybe within the first 2 times of talking to that person and meeting that person, no. But as I've gotten to know people better, especially in college, like after I learned about, you know, the whole PMO thing, I could tell just like, oh, that guy has something going on. You know, I could tell just because, as I said before, with the hobbies and, you know, the lack of interest in other things, that's definitely a big sign.
Right.
And I think when a guy isn't excited about something, they're probably into porn, or I mean, maybe not even necessarily porn, but
yeah,
like
it could be a series of other things.
Another like self-destructive habit.
Yeah. Next up would be, and this one, I don't know if you have an answer for this, but can you see a difference in me specifically compared to maybe other guys that you've talked to or come across?
Yeah, I mean, you are very different from most guys, I would say. And
thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things. I think definitely the Nofap is a big part of it, but I think also once you start to get into that kind of stuff, it's like, oh, well, now I'm going to make my life better on this term. I might start meditating or whatever.
Yeah. So we were debating even asking this question, because when she met me about 2.5 to 3 years after I'd already committed myself to this life change. And so when she met me, or when you met me, I mean, I was probably, you know, you said I was different from a lot of guys, but that is the end result of what I'd been doing between those 2.5 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And so when I made the initial change, the lifestyle change, and if you guys remember, I started this whole process probably 4 years ago or 5 years ago, but it took me 2 years to finally get it down. And so when you met me, I truly committed myself to the process. So, I mean, we're talking about exercising daily, we're talking about meditation, we're talking about reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of audiobooks. I mean, I committed full time. And so that's a product of what comes about when you start engaging in the whole Nofap lifestyle. I mean, a lot of guys, and I'm kind of just going off topic here, but a lot of guys they'll do Nofap alone. They'll just stop watching pornography, and that's not really enough. And that's why I failed those first few years, is because all I did was I stopped watching pornography, but I didn't replace the bad habit with better habits.
Yes.
I just committed to a temporary journey rather than making this an entire lifestyle change. And so for a lot of you who are trying to, you know, really get over the habit, it's more of a life shift. It's not just like this temporary challenge that you're going to put yourself on. You know, it's a whole lifetime of a change. So yeah, when you met me, definitely I mean, this is only like 6 months ago, 4 months ago. Yeah. So when she met me, I was already like super into the whole like lifestyle change. So.
Well, I just think it's a good discussion on like, you know, and I know you're like into this. It's just another part of making yourself the better version of yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of people just forget that like habits are formed over, you know, years, months, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like you just break a habit and it's gone. Like you do have to replace it with something else.
Right.
And that's I think that's part of the hardest aspect of it
right.
is finding, okay, what am I going to do now?
Right.
You know.
Right. And so you're hearing this from someone who's not even a guy. I mean, she is someone who doesn't even have this whole addiction to pornography, and she's telling you. So that should let you know that this is accurate stuff. And I know you guys have heard a lot of this before, but I hope that getting a female's perspective really drives the point home in a way that I couldn't do. So yeah, Angela, thank you for doing this. Maybe we can make a little series like Ask Angela. I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But guys, you can also check out Angela's channel. I'll put it here or here. I'll put it here. And yeah, check her out. She's a vegan. She does talk about some vegan things when she does make videos. I'm gonna try to help, you know, make her do more videos for you guys. So yeah, thanks guys for tuning in, and I guess we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Peace.